All right, good afternoon and welcome to the settle session that we're having today. And I am pleased to be doing this session with my colleague, Mr. Javed Muhammad. And today we want to introduce you to H5P. In a very meaningful way, we want to really whet your appetite. And we certainly think that there are going to be further opportunities for you to marinate your brain in H5P. And so we really want to look at the whole idea of interactive learning using H5P. And we want to show you how you can do that within MyeLearning. We also want to explore some of the tools that we want to use in doing so. So in a very meaningful way, thank you. Good afternoon to all. If you can indicate in the chat what faculty you're coming from, we will use that data to actually inform some of the ways in which we're going to present our session today. And I just want to say thank you and good afternoon to all. As well, we want to make a call. We want to make a special call for you to help us. We want to make a call for you to subscribe to our channel because we certainly will be having new recordings, and we are soliciting your cooperation and support and partnership by having by doing, subscribing to our YouTube channel. We're going to post the link in our YouTube channel, so you can do that now. And again, the aim of this session is to introduce you to a tool to address the need for interactive interaction within your course space, engagement, but also in a very meaningful way, also valuing other things that we're going to cover in this session. From a socio-historical context, we certainly want to look at how did we arrive to H5P. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at what is H5P, how did we arrive there, and how it's used, in particular in academia. I mean, H5P has demonstrated a very strong stand and ground with in academia, a very, very strong, and we'll give you some examples of research of how it's used in academia. And at the end of the session, we're going to make a special call. We're going to make a special call to partner with us in perhaps a further focus group or activity where we could actually do this, a kind of design-based research. And we will be there to support you to do that. As practitioners, we really want to see how we can actually do that to support. So we'll be making that call. So on the screen, you will see that we are certainly valuing the need for us to understand what exactly is this. Well, I can tell you, I can begin by telling you, you see HTML is there. So HTML obviously is a markup language. So when you're browsing the web, you're actually using a basic text file, actually. And the browser interprets the markup language and displays videos, it displays text, it displays the various actions and various things on the screen. And so that is what is called hypertext markup language. In fact, what we know as hypertext markup language now is actually HTML4. All right? So who can tell me, obviously, the next evolution, the next step would be HTML5. So that is what we call HTML5. HTML5 is actually a revision of the standard HTML, which was HTML4, and focusing on the whole idea of interaction, multimedia interoperability, and those different things. It was first introduced in 2008 with major revisions in 2014, and the latest one, in fact, if we were supposed to look at versions, the latest one is actually 5.3, which is 2017. So in the chat, very, very quick in the chat. Now that we understand HTML, what HTML is, what HTML5, I've just stated that. In the chat room, I want to see who's going to get that guess right. I don't know who's going to get that right. What do you think H5P would actually stand for? What does it actually stand for? What can you guess what it stands for? Can you do that in the chat? Or if you want to hold the mic, what do you think H5P? We have HTML, we have HTML5, which is talking about the whole idea of interaction and using multimedia. I'm not seeing anyone in the chat. Make a guess. You're all seeing the presentation, right? You all seen the presentation? Yes, great, very good. Can you indicate what you think? Okay, knowing that HTML5. Okay, great. Someone has package. So HTML package. I looked online. Someone said I looked online. HTML package. Anybody else? Well, we got, well, it's HTML package, or sometimes plugin is also used to also do that. But what it is, HTML5 is actually a plugin that allows us to draw on HTML5 affordances. All right. And so, in a very meaningful way, we just want to look at that. And, I don't know if any of you remember this. Can you remember the time when Flash was in 1996 when Flash came out? I'm not talking about the superhero. I'm talking about the actual media player, or the software that allowed you to actually interact with various features on the certainly, if you remember that, you would remember a lot of things that you were able to achieve. But there was a big problem with Flash, and major problem was actually security. And I remember clearly. I can't remember his name from Apple, who decided that they're no longer going to support Flash on their devices because of the security flaw. Jobs, yes, very good. Steve Jobs, yes, thank you, Alet. And so certainly it gives us clear Adobe flashbacks. In fact, actually the Flash actually started with a company called Macromedia way back, and then Flash bought them, and then they never really fixed that security issue, and that became a major thing. So we can see where this was primarily a major. I mean, we had Shockwave, but this was one of the major tools used to actually engage with multimedia on the web, playing videos, all kind of stuff. And I'm sure we could remember some of us doing that. It was used as a container, because persons could actually contain videos within a Flash container, and then you can do many things with it. But what we can say for a fact is that because of the web consortium, and the consortium is persons like Google, Apple, and all of them who come together to say, okay, these are the standards for the web that we want to do, and therefore we want to have a secure, because obviously that is a standard thing, and we want a secure environment in which we can navigate in the online sphere. So certainly the end of Flash meant, obviously, HTML5 in the entrance of HTML5 gave a more definite end and departure and end. And you can look at the full BBC story that's linked here of Flash. All right, so certainly we saw that. I just want to talk quickly on it. So it's HTML5 package, as we said. It's a plugin, it's a tool, and it produces interactive content and interactive video. And in short, it's a very powerful tool that was developed within the confines of an academic setting, and it actually remained very, very strongly so. In fact, it began as a plugin for Drupal, and Drupal, if you're aware, Drupal is a major content management system that is used by many companies and different entities and organizations. We have WordPress, but we also have Drupal. Actually, Drupal was the first content management system that this was designed for. It was designed as a plugin from that standpoint. And it is clear to see that the whole idea behind H5P is to really make creating and sharing various type of HTML5 content much easier. And I just want to pause a little bit in the backdrop, looking at the whole idea of the philosophy behind this. The philosophy behind the whole idea of being able to share is also, and I'm going to put a plug in here for OER, open education resources. And so certainly the that has been part of the culture. The whole idea behind this, the HTML5 obviously being open source, and H5P became obviously an open source tool. There's H5P org that you can actually look and see. But certainly it is something. Does it work in WordPress as well? In fact, yes, that's correct. The second platform that it was designed for as a plugin was actually WordPress. And so thank you for that, Eddie. I'm thinking very carefully that we can see how it actually maintained its use. Now, what I should have said earlier was that over 90% of what we use is on the web is HTML, web related content. And certainly it's important for us to see where HTML5 comes in. In fact, HTML5 is just about very, very close when it comes to the HTML, native HTML, which means to tell us that more and more companies and organizations are using HTML5. All right, they are certainly using more HTML5. All right, any questions as you go along? Questions, but certainly WordPress is that second platform that was used. And I should say here clearly, it was in 2018 when we saw more persons and more schools and university enterprises begin to use it in their setting, and organizations began to support it. But again, if you're asked by anyone when was it invented, it was invented in 2013. And which platform was it invented for? In the chat room, you remember what we said? What platform? It was first introduced in Drupal, and Drupal is a content management system. And obviously, in 2014, 1 year later, we have it being introduced in WordPress. It certainly is important for us to see. Even when you go to h5p.org, you could actually see them. They're actually still using Drupal for their site and actually hosting But again, in 2017, educators in Moodle began to see the affordance of using this, and obviously they actually created a plugin, and the plugin for H5P is already native within our learning management system, MyeLearning. So that is good to know. All right. So let's dovetail fast, because I want to get out of the way so I can give much of the time for you to actually see the H5P in action and go through it very quickly. So I'm just setting the context for that for Mr. Mohammed to take over. So why H5P? Well, naturally, as I said earlier, the ease of use to be able to share content. That's the overall philosophy that is shareable. In fact, when you share your H5P, there is often the default where you can enable persons not to share. I think by default, when you publish it, it gives the option to reuse, so persons can actually download your object, your H5P object, or and we're going to look and see some of those different objects that you're able to make. It's certainly user friendly. It allows you to create interactive content for your learners, and it's ideal for whether you're looking at, just to freshen up your course and materials, make it impressive. I think one of the things COVID actually taught us is the whole idea of the need to engage our students, to be more interactive, whether you want to do an impressive timeline or a presentation or different types. It becomes very easy. Flashcards, hotspots. You may have an image and you want to create some hotspots. You want to create some knowledge checks. You want to create some branching scenarios. All of those are presented in H5P. But what we know is that it's also very easy to learn. And that is why we are spending time with you today, because we know that we have partners in this session today who are going to benefit from actually adopting this in their course base. It's very visually pleasing. I say easy to read as well, because it focuses on the whole idea of visual spatial learning. And so there's a whole idea of using different elements. It's responsive. You can actually scale it to you from your desktop to your mobile device, and it will scale. It will scale to that, and you will be able to see that from that standpoint. But primarily, I love it because it really promotes active learning. As I said, you can actually do a video, you can do a presentation, and you can embed knowledge check to see whether or not your students are actually taking note of what you would have been presenting. So it's in a very meaningful way. We want to focus on the whole idea of interactive and engagement. And we have a number of resources. I'm going to actually share that in the references section. You can see how other universities, colleagues have been using it. But, it provides a unique opportunity to engage students through active learning. And we see the research by Means et al. In 2013 and Singleton and Charlton 2020. The Singleton and 10 is bigger because I really think that one gives a more direct reference to H5P and how it's used. But we recognize the need for us to really salami slice, or sometimes what we call chunk information from a learning science, from a learning psychology standpoint. Sometimes we need to just have those layering or different objects that you can have within your course space. And I should have mentioned earlier, if you create an H5P element, you can reuse it, you can reuse it, you can reuse it, and that makes it, very, very meaningful. Obviously, when you think about engagement, there's always the contentious issue of motivation, whether it's intrinsic or extrinsic, but the whole idea motivating students to participate and follow up. Certainly in doing follow-up studies in doing that, we can see Brugger et al. In 2021, which is an interesting study. I would advise you to read through that one. All right, so when to use H5P? Well, as I mentioned again, when you really want to chunk your information, you want to make it into bite-sized pieces, you use that. Student engagement, knowledge check, self-assessment, you may want to use a flip approach, and you may want students to be able to engage. You may want to repurpose your content differently. You may want to create a lab simulation that actually invokes student feedback and student response. And one of the key things that we hear about is a lot about game-based learning and gamification, which is more or less drawing on the elements of games, but also certain elements of games that we want to really draw on. But certainly it provides an opportunity for us to really change our game of teaching and learning. All right. Who uses H5P? Well, as I said earlier, H5P, because of its natural, there are certain things when they're evolved within the academia, they remain very strong within academia, and certainly this is one of them. And there's a study in Australia is very, very strong. It's growing a lot in the US. But there are stories and studies that show how teachers are using it to create course content. And, again, once you're a teacher, when it comes to the MyeLearning, we are speaking specifically MyeLearning. Once you're a teacher, anyone who's enrolled as a teacher or content in the course space in MyeLearning can create H5P content. So again, it will be viewed by anyone who has access to the course space. Obviously, you can hide it before you, certain things. We know that you can do that. I want to draw on this because this one provides a very, can students create as well? Yes, certainly they can create, but they can create it in your course. And we're going to show you how you can actually use an external tool to create H5P content. So certainly you can have your students create content, but it wouldn't be content that they won't be able to upload it to the MyeLearning unless you actually have it as an assignment that they can upload. But my recommendation is it depends on what is the outcome of your teaching and learning, what you want to achieve. But certainly yes, they can create, but they can't create it within MyeLearning. They can only create it using an external tool, a standalone tool, which we're going to introduce you to, called Lumi. As well. We're just going to introduce you to that tool. So I think this point of reflection was quite, so I felt of sharing it. It's some text here. So H5P has enabled academics and staff to create rich interactive media in an increasingly easy and accessible way. I can't say it more than that. This is not a sales pitch. It's just someone's reflecting, because H5P is free. It's just not like he's selling it. This is a brilliant way to build learning objects that we can embed within our website. Yes, you can embed it in your website, as well as our LMS. It says VLE, that's British. All right, virtual learning environment. It's simplicity means we can concentrate on the teaching and learning rather than the technical aspects of development. In fact, I'll put a plug in here that H5P has made a very strong case for deconstructing the need for having development, because in some course development you need to have actually a unit that focuses on all. H5P has actually flipped that a little bit, because you can do a lot of things without having to need a big production unit in doing that. And so students are creating their own H5P objects, by the way. So yes, you can see that, and sharing them with each other. We are working hard to move from a blended form of delivery, and H5P fully supports our aspiration for engaging online teaching. And, we can see that's from Stephen, Enhanced Learning Production Manager, University of Southampton. I will tell you here, from a data-driven standpoint, it's making a change, because it's about 63% of the market right now are using of the web. That's the web available as a plugin, obviously, and more. I mean, right now, I can tell you this: the actual hosting is done within MyeLearning, but you can host your H5P native content certainly differently, because it's such a powerful tool, easy. This COM, it allows you to actually scale and share your objects over and over again, which makes it really, really nice. Is there a question? I heard someone say a question. So again, free. It's free. H5P.com. They do charge. They do charge, because obviously it does. And you do have H5P.org, which is the organization that actually propels. So the funding from H5P.com is used as a way to self-fund and pay the developers and so forth. But here's what. Your access to H5P is free. Free. It's in MyeLearning. It's free. And you have a tool, Lumi. Guess what? Lumi is free. And so today we are going to just look at that. Some considerations just before I turn over to Mr. Mohammed is some considerations for thinking is, obviously you want to think of your context, what issue you want to solve, the updating of it, chunking, you may want to chunk, how you want to chunk, how you want to break it up, and obviously how you want to use activities as well as assessment. How are you going to engage students to actually see how well they're learning and so forth. So these are some of the considerations that you can take when you're designing H5P activities. All right, any questions? Any questions? Now on MyeLearning, you will notice when you would notice that there are many forms, or what we call content options in MyeLearning. They are native to the H5P. You have a questionnaire, multiple choice. You have all those different things you can use. But for us here today, we have decided that we want to give you, focus on these first three. All right. So the first three, I'm going to turn over to Jabba. We want to focus on the first one actually, because we recognize our time constraints, but we certainly will be having additional sessions and certainly would want to support you. So we're going to focus, because in the academic setting, course presentations is by far the most commonly used content option. All right, so there are different content options. As I said, you can actually create an interactive video. You can actually glue together a number of YouTube videos and pause in between and ask students questions, or it could be actually an entire YouTube video where you could actually pause and actually add knowledge checks and so forth. You can add image hotspots and actually have students being able to interact. If you are, yesterday when I was going through an article, I saw how one particular faculty was able to superimposed a picture of a brain lobe, those of you in science. And I see that we have some persons who are in Faculty of Medical Sciences, and where they were able to have students pick and choose and identify, and they would be able to get it right or wrong, and those different things using a little drop, and so forth. And so I want to now turn over to Javed, who's going to now just give us a quick demonstration. Well, not a quick demonstration, a full demonstration. And that will be it from me. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Hill. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I share my screen, I'm going to put a link in the chat. And this link is going to give you access to a folder with images and a document in which we will use to practice the designing of a H5P activity. Can someone click on the link and make sure it's available and you are seeing the roti. So this, let me be honest, this topic actually is something that we have running in the office here, roti. Our friend, Dr. Zephyrin, he loves roti and often talks about roti. And someday he, while preparing for this presentation, he was talking about roti. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this as the topic for our demonstration today. So yes, we are going to create a presentation on roti, Caribbean roti to be specific. Yes, so I'm going to share my screen now. Good, so you'll see my screen. Nice.
Yes, we are, yes.
So as Dr. Hill mentioned earlier, he did indicate that you have the option to create H5P interactive content inside the MyeLearning environment, Moodle. And we also have the opportunity to design outside of MyeLearning, and that is by way of the Lumi app. We did send an email reminder, actually 2 reminders, indicating that you need to download the Lumi app before you join the session. If you have not done that, you still have some time. The link is placed in the chat to a YouTube video giving you instructions on how to download and install the Lumi app. Good. So I'm going straight into the demo. All right. And this is in reference to creating H5P content in MyeLearning. And these are the steps here outlined, 8 simple steps. Of course, you need to turn your editing on, and then you would click activity or resource. From the activity picker, you will then select the H5P option. When you do that, a screen will appear and you will have to enter a name and description. And since we are creating the H5P content in MyeLearning, you will have to use the content bank option. And when you select that option, I'm just going through the steps here. I'm going to give you a demo shortly. When you select the content bank option, it will open in a new window or tab. And that will now open up the option for you to add a new H5P activity. And moving forward, you'll be able to create, and when you're done with that, you can definitely save and upload it to your MyeLearning space, or course, embed it in any one of your courses. So these are the steps here. We have a snapshot view for each one of the steps. Turn editing on, add an activity or resource, select the H5P from the activity picker, give a name and description for the activity. And this is where you would need to then select the content bank option, which will open in a new tab. And when that happens, you will be taken to a space where you add a new H5P activity. When you click on that drop-down option, you select the activity you want to create. So you will get all the options, all the interactivity options to choose from. But in this demo, we will be focusing on course presentation. So once you select the course presentation or any one of those options, you will then begin designing. When you're done, you click save, and it's just a matter now of embedding it in your course space. So for those of you who did not get the opportunity to look at our video, I'm going to play this right here. Okay, so I will play the video again. Sorry about that. It's too small. I'm using a large screen. My apologies. Nice. And while I'm here, I would invite those of you who have not subscribed to our YouTube channel to do so. You can go on YouTube, which I think I did share. No, I did not. I will share the link in the chat. But if you go on YouTube and you search for UE Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, it will take you to our channel. Please subscribe and you will get our latest videos. So let's do an actual demo. So once you're inside your MyeLearning course, you go to the section that, you turn editing on and you go to the section that you want to add this activity. And we all know the famous add an activity or resource option. So once you click on that option here from the picker, the activity picker, you then select H5P. And this is where you give the topic, the activity a name and description. And if you have not created any H5P activity or any elements or anything like that previously, you will have to create a new H5P activity. And to do that, you select the content bank option here. And it will take you to this window where you will have the option to add the activity. So again, we are focusing on the presentation, course presentation tool, but you can see here, you have a number of activities to choose from. Drag and drop, interactive video, which I know some of you will use, multiple choice, questionnaire, single choice, etc. Yeah, so I'm going to select course presentation. Great. So once you select course presentation, you'll be taken to the H5P editor. And you will remain inside MyeLearning because it's embedded. So in MyeLearning, and you have access to it here. We will look at the Lumi option, which is the preferred option based on discussions and readings. The Lumi option is a really nice option to use for creating your H5P content. It gives you the ability to work outside of MyeLearning, save your project, save your presentations, your content on your devices, and you have it readily available, and you can of course upload it into your MyeLearning space whenever you need it. Great, so you're here. So we are here inside the H5P editor, and you will have to give the presentation a title. If you don't, and you try to save, the system will give you a prompt that you need to create a title, add a title. So by default, the first page, I would like to call this page or canvas. This page will be the first slide. So, and how do I know that? Because at the bottom of my canvas, I'm seeing 1/1, 1 out of 1. So I have one slide. When you click the slides option to the top of the canvas, you have more options, more slide options, sorry, where you can tell the system to show titles, the title of your slide. Do you want it to be shown always? Yes or no? You select the option. It's all based on how you design your content. This is up to your creativity. I'm going to leave it always for the demo. And you can add, you can make it actually see-through or not. It's up to you. I'm going to give it a 75%. Okay, good. And we have a slide. So if you're working in a PowerPoint presentation, you would know to the left of your screen, you would have your slides. This is similar. This is a similar approach, but with the H5P presentation tool, you have to give your slides a title. Well, you don't have to, but it will be good for your students because you want your students to jump to sections. And Dr. Hill indicated earlier in his part of the presentation where he spoke about a different approach to learning and non-linear approach. Persons can actually jump to any section they feel like, you know, for reinforcement, or if they feel like they just need to get that one bit of information and then move on. Yeah, so if you give your slides a title, that will allow for that type of flexibility in the learning. So to edit the slide, when you hover, you are getting the pencil icon, the edit icon. You can click that, or for me, I like to do things the fast way. I just double click in the space and then type the information or the name of my slide. That's it. Good. So I'm not going to do too much in MyeLearning because I want us to focus more on the Lumi side, but we'll just create one slide and you will get an idea of how it's done inside MyeLearning and how you can select it and have it embedded on your page. So we have a slide title created, but we don't have any contents on the slide. So on the slide now, you need to add information. So to the top of the canvas, your canvas, you will notice that there are options to choose from. If I want to add text, I simply click text. If I want to add an image, I can use the image option. If I want to add a video, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to add some text. And this probably, let me just back up a bit. So you click text, and now the text editor will appear. And in this space, you can give the text box a title. It's good to do that. Why? Because for some reason, if links are broken and persons still able to access the player or the H5P player, they will know that that space is really going to have a text box, and in that text box, it will have information based on what is roti. Oh gosh, now I'm getting myself hungry. Yeah, so now I need to add the information in the text box, and this is where you do that in this space here. So let me go to the website I use for creating the content. I feel as though I need to credit the site, so that's why I'm using it here. At this point, I'm going to just copy some text quickly. And paste it here. Now, if you try to paste the text by right-clicking, it's not going to give you the option, right? And this will also apply to the Lumi application as well. So to paste the information, you use the shortcut, the keyboard shortcut, Control-V, and the text will be placed. So inside my text box, I have some text here, and I do have the opportunity to make it bold, and I have the opportunity to format the paragraph, and I want you all to pay attention to this. So this will help you in designing a nice layout, a easy to read layout as well, using using the standards when it comes to designing web pages and so on. You have the option to create a heading or normal text. So I'm just going to use, let me create a heading. So you see what that looks like. Select heading. And if you use heading 2 for one slide, please remain consistent throughout your entire design. And for the body of your slide information or the text, you can use normal. All right, let me select heading 3 for you to get an idea. Heading 3. Good. So I would recommend using heading 1 for your main heading 2 for your main heading. And if you have a subheading, if you want to go on another line or next paragraph and you have a subheading, you can then select the heading 3 option. And that way you have a nice display of the information and you can remain consistent throughout. So once you add the text in your text box, you can create some comments and have the comments displayed. But I'm not going to show you that right now. You can give it some background transparency, or you can actually display the text box as a button. We are not going to do that right now. I'm just going to select done. And this is what is going to happen. So your text box is placed on your slide and you have to now reposition it where you want it. And when you find that position you want to place your text box, you can expand the text box. Yeah, and that's it. So we have the heading H2 and then normal text here, and it's looking pretty okay. And we have a slide 1. So we have slide 1 with just text on it. You can obviously add an image. Let me back up. I probably did that too fast. Too quickly. So I want to add an image as well. I just simply click on image. Add image. Select the image from wherever you have it stored. It's loaded here. And save. Oh, yes, alternative text. Here, sorry, my system froze there. So once you add the image, you can resize and you need to position, you can position it where you want it. If I want to edit the image, I simply double click on the image, or if I want to edit the text box, I double click on the text box or select and then select the object and then select edit. But again, I like to do it the fast way. Double click and I will get the edit option. I can give, I did not give a title. I can give a title. Again, I would encourage the use of alternative text because for some reason, if the browser does not load the text, as you can see here, if the browser can't load the image or text, this alternative text will be displayed, and it gives the person who is looking at watching the video, it can apply for a video as well, looking at a video, reading your text, it will give them an idea as what was supposed to be there in that space. You can add optional options where persons hover over the image and text is displayed, and so on. Done. Okay, so we have one slide with text and an image on it. And I'm going to just stop here. I'm going to stop here for now and select save. So you will notice that you have the option to save at the top of your page and the bottom of your page. There's also the behavioral settings, the behavior settings. I'm not going into these options right now. We will look at those options in the Lumi demo. But as you can see, you have options to give persons the ability to retry the activities, like let's say a true-false summary slide. You can enable a print button where they can print all the slides. You can enable those options. So I'm going to save. And this is what the presentation looks like. It's just one slide, nothing amazing yet, but we do know how to create an H5P activity in MyeLearning, and this is how it's done. And if I want to go and go back to this presentation and edit it, I can simply click edit and it will take me back to the editor. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to now add this presentation to my course. So I can close the content bank area, go to my course, and this is where we left off after selecting content bank. So to add that presentation now, you click the add file option. And here, in your content bank, your H5P content will appear. And one thing to note, whenever you create your H5P content in the content bank, give it a proper name so that you can quickly see exactly what it is, and you would know what it is. So you know exactly which content, which H5P content you are selecting or activity you are selecting. So in this case, I do not know because I named all Caribbean Roti. Don't do that. But I want to add croti.h5p to my page, my course page. So I select, and here you need to determine whether or not you want to make a copy of the file or create a shortcut file. I do not recommend creating a shortcut file because if for some reason you edit that copy, that version, you will be editing the master version or the main parent version. So make a copy and then select the file. And you can now save and display or save and return to your course. Just give it some time to load. While it's loading, let me look at the chat. Does this require the PowerPoint? No, it does not require the PowerPoint to be developed. However, if you have PowerPoint already developed, this is going to now take your presentation to a next level because you have the option to add all those interactivity elements within your presentation. So it will simply be a matter of you copying and pasting the information from your PowerPoint presentation to the H5P presentation, and then adding interactivity elements, which we have not done as yet. And we will look at those interactivity elements using Lumi. Any other questions while I'm here?
Yeah, Javid, I just got slightly distracted and lost. To upload the thing we just created, I'm going back to Content Bank, right? Is that correct?
So you were following me?
Yes.
Okay. Did you create anything? Did you create a presentation?
Yes.
Okay. And when you created your presentation, you were taken to you selected the save option, right? After creating your presentation, right? So now you can close, because you will have two tabs open. You can close that Content Bank tab.
Oh, okay.
And then you will be taken to, well, then you will go to the actual place where you left off.
Right, okay.
Are you seeing it there? And now you need to select by clicking the file option. Do I need to show that to you?
No.
Okay, so you would select the file and then select your H5P activity.
Okay, that I'm not seeing. I'm seeing file, but.
Okay, let me show you. So you're here.
Yes.
Okay, and select file. And when the file picker opens up, you select Content Bank if it's not selected.
Oh, okay.
And then right.
Okay, good. Select this.
When you make a copy.
And then click select this file.
Select this file.
Okay.
And of course, you have these options that you most likely will be familiar with. Grade, attempts, right? I'm not going into that right now. And then you click save and display or save return to course. It's up to you.
Okay, thanks.
It will take some time. Sometimes it takes a little time to load after you click save. All right.
Thank you.
And then you will have it there. If I turn editing off. Right, this is the one I uploaded earlier. All right, so I know you're all excited to see some of the interactivity elements, such as this one. I am going to now look at those aspects of creating an H5P activity. Before I do that, do you all have any questions using H5P in MyeLearning?
Javid, Michelle Gill here. I'm curious as to what just happened. You created one slide, and this is what it did. It broke it up to 6 slides. That's what you're telling me?
Oh, no. I found that to be very boring. That one slide I created, and I selected one that I had previously.
Okay, so you had many slides, and okay.
Yeah, so I'm just giving you an idea of what we are going to create now.
Okay, then.
Right. So that one slide that I created, I did not use it. I used a different one that I had before, but the steps
had 6 slides.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Right. Sorry about that. So this is what we are going to recreate. We are going to recreate this presentation here using the Lumi application. Any more questions before we move on to Lumi?
Actually, Sahida here, I have a quick question for you. If you create the presentation in MyeLearning, can you download and save? I don't know if I missed it, sorry. Can you download and save to your computer?
Yes, you have the options to do that.
Okay, all right. Okay, great, thanks.
But I will not recommend using that option. You would want to use the Lumi option.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way I would go as well.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Javed.
Okay, Dr. Scarrett, no problem. We will share the recording. Nice having you. Good. So I'm going to close. And I would like to know if you all, Dr. Scarrett, your hand is up.
I think
Apologies.
Okay, no problem. It's an old hand. All right, no problem. So I'm hoping that most of you, if not all, did download the Lumi application. You can use the reactions and give me a thumbs up. Right, so good. We have persons who did that. And did you all access the folder that I shared in the chat? Okay, good. I'm getting a thumbs up. Great. So you would need to keep those images close by. You need to keep the PowerPoint presentation, sorry, not PowerPoint, the Word document close by as well. Let me share my screen again and show you all exactly what we are going to be using. So we have images to work with, and we have an example to work with as well. So the example, which is Caribbean Roti Assets.html, I want for you to download this file. So to download the file, you right-click, download. It will download on your system. And when it's downloaded, I would like for you to open the file. And here you have access to the actual presentation. Why I want you to do this? Because when it's time to add information, I don't want for you all to be searching all over to get text and so on. So you can simply from this slide itself, the presentation itself, you can copy the information and just paste it as we go through the steps. Any questions regarding that? No? Good. Great. So since you all would have installed the Lumi application, I want you to open that application if you don't have it open already. When you open, click Start. And then select Create New H5P. Good. So when you select Create New H5P, select the course presentation option. If you're using it for the first time, which in this case, most of you are doing that, you will have to select Get, and it will give you the prompt to use to go ahead and use the presentation tool. So again, select Get or Details, but you're selecting course presentation. then use, and it will take you to the presentation, course presentation editor.
Sorry, I have installed. So should I install first and then I'll get the use option?
Oh, yes, yes, install. So after you click get, you have to install. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, we are done with MyeLearning for now. You can log off if you would like to. But as Dr. Hill indicated, it would be good to have it in the background in case we want at the end and we have time, you can upload it into your MyeLearning space. So are we here? Are you all at this same place that I am? Yeah, good. Just making sure because I know we have a large group, pretty much. I want everybody to move together. Great. Now, let's give our course presentation a title. Good.
Are we using your name or we could use our own?
No, you don't need to use my name. Right. So if it's a title, you give it a title, whatever title you want. And when you do that, you hit enter or you click out of the text box and the title will be there. And one good practice when using Lumi is to save your presentation. So let's save our presentation and we'll continue saving as we go. So save, file, save. Save. Okay. And we are doing that in case the app crashes. I've not experienced that. I haven't had that experience, but it's a good practice. And as you go, as you continue designing your presentation, Control S, just to make sure it's safe. Because we are not working in the cloud where it's actually saving automatically for you. You need to save your work as you progress. Good. So to the top of your screen, you would notice that there's a view option and edit option. We are in the edit space, but let's view. Let's just click view to see what happens. We don't have anything created as yet, so you should see a blank slide. To go back to the edit, you select edit, and you will be taken to the course presentation editor. Good. Now, let's take a look at the example share. So we have slide 1, roti origin. Slide 2, what is roti? Slide 3, variations. And we have two slides with the Trinidad variations of roti. And I did that intentionally so that you can get an idea of how you can display your information. So some persons may choose to present the information in a table like this, but if you have the time, it would be best if you can summarize all of that information and associate a picture to that, all those texts you have here. You can hide it and make it available to students when they view the slide and select the option, the information option. And then we have recipe. So the recipe is a video, and then we have the last slide, which is a concept check. You could name this slide summary, assessment, whatever you want. Good. So our first slide, roti origin. Let's recreate this. So in your Lumi application, click the slides drop down to the top left of your canvas and select always show. So you are always showing these slides. You don't have to, but we are doing that for this demonstration.
Hi, Javed. Can you just show how to save again? I think there's one person who needs that reminder.
Okay, no problem. So saving is just like saving any Word document. You click on File to the top left of your screen and then Save. Select Save. If you're saving for the first time, you will be taken to a window where you will have to, of course, give your file a name, and then you select Save. And moving forward, you can use the shortcut key Control-S, Control-S to continuously saving. Okay, so let's give our slide a title. Right now we don't have a title, and again I'm going to use the shortcut method. Double click in the space here to give my slide a title, and it's roti origin. You can put slide 1, slide 2, whatever you want. And then hit enter. Good. Now we want to add some text, and to do that you select the text option to the top of your canvas, and you will be taken to the content editor, well, the text editor, and here you will insert the text that you want to. And I'm going back to the example on this website, and I'm just going to copy all of this text, Control-C, or I think you should get right. Yes, you can copy by using right click, copy, Lumi, go back to Lumi, and then paste it. I'm going to show you what's going to happen here when I right click and select paste. I'm going to get a message. It's not going to happen. You can't right click paste in the editor. You need to Control-V. Good. So what happened there, I actually paste the format of the text, which is making it easy for us. But let's say I don't want to make the header bold. I can select it and uncheck bold. And if I want to, for some reason, some strange reason, use heading 3, I can do that, but I don't want to. Since it's my main heading, I'm going to use heading 2. If I don't want the information to presented in bullet form, I can select all of the text and uncheck that option as well. So I can remove the bulleted list, or I can add bullets, numbering. I can link as well. Good. And when you're done, you select done. If I, for some reason in error, select delete, I will get a prompt. Are you sure? Hey Javed, are you sure you want to delete this element? No, I don't want to. So I'm canceling. I don't want to delete it. So that will apply every time you hit delete in this application. It will give you a prompt. Are you sure you want to delete? And then you select yes or no. and I am going to select done. When you select done, you will be taken to the slide, and you have the option now to reposition and stretch your text box according to the size of your slide. So it's looking okay so far. I have text, and we want to add an image. Let me check the chat. Got it, thanks. Can we add, is it okay to move on to adding an image? Yes, good, okay, nice. Let me know if I need to slow down or speed up. Inserting an image is going to be easy, and to do that, you just select image. If I did not indicate earlier to download these images, now would be a good time to do that. So in the file that I shared, the folder that I shared with all these files you're seeing here, you can download these images on your desktop, laptop, so you will have quick access to it. Giving you 30 seconds to do that. Good. So let's select an image. You click on the image option, and you'll be taken to this page or window where you have to do a couple things here now. The first thing you would want to do is add your image. Downloads. I had it in download somewhere. Roti contents. Yes, yes. And I'm going to select Caribbean roti for my image. And my image is now here. I can, if I select edit image, I do have the option to do some minor editing where I can change the orientation, and I can crop. But I don't want to do that right now, but I'm just letting you know you have that option. Cancel. And again, I am encouraging you to put an appropriate alternative text. And when you're done doing that, you can select done, and again, delete and done will be displayed at the top and bottom of your screen. Done. When you select done, you need to position your image where you would like to have it positioned, and of course you have the option to scale your image by selecting the handles, the corner handles, right? Use the corner handles to distribute the pixels evenly. Good. Now, let's save. Control S. Good. So we saved our slide, and let's take a view. It's good to always preview as you design, and this is what persons will see. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. This is what persons will see when you share your Lumi presentation. Let's go back to edit. Now,
Hi,
Before
Javed.
we,
There's
yes.
a question, sorry, to
Mhm.
can you just show how we select and copy content from the web page?
Yes.
So, and I think there's a question from Avian to do that.
Yes, sorry. I think I missed how we're taking the HTML content and putting it over into the presentation on Lumi.
Okay. No problem. No problem. So it's simply highlighting the text, and to highlight the text, you left click on your mouse and you drag over the text that you want to copy. It's going to be highlighted, and you have to copy. Well, in copying, you can use both options here. You can right click and select copy, or you can use the shortcut keyboard method by holding down Control-C. And then you go to Lumi in your text box and paste the information here in the text box editor. You paste it in this area by using the keyboard method Control-V.
Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Good. Right. So some things to pay attention to when using, when designing, you want to keep consistency. And one way of keeping consistency with your design is by using a template. Creating one slide and copying the slide, and you just edit as you design. To copy a slide, you have that option at the bottom of your canvas where you see clone slide. So once you select clone slide, you will notice that a copy or a clone was generated for you without a title, and you can now edit the title and edit the text by double clicking in the text box, modifying your text, selecting done, and you can do the same for the image. If you don't want the image, you can simply delete the image by selecting the image and then clicking the trash can icon, remove. And it's gone. Now, if I want to delete the slide, I need to make sure that I am on the slide that I want to delete. So I select the slide, and then to the bottom of the canvas, the right corner, bottom corner, there's the option to delete your slide. You select delete, and then use select OK, and the slide is deleted. I cannot undo that. I cannot undo. There's no undo. So you need to read the prompt and verify that that is the action you really want to take. Good. Saving again. Always get in the habit of saving. Let's go to the website now. And the second slide is what is row T. So I think Justin could give you a textbook definition of what is roti for sure. We know Dr. Zephyrin is an expert. And I am going to copy my first slide by selecting clone slide. I want to keep the same layout. I'm going to double click in the text box. This is done just as a form of reinforcement in the for the demo. Select the text. I can delete by hitting delete or backspace on my keyboard. And now I hold down Ctrl V and I will have that copied information pasted here in this space. When I'm done, I select done. Good. But I did not give my slide to a title, so I want to do that now. Oh, sorry, Dr. Zephyrin. I don't know where all that roti goes though, Dr. Zephyrin. This guy could bust down a roti and, you know, his belly remaining flat. People like myself, I have to go and run in the morning. All right. So I will leave the same image. Let's go into slide 2 now. Sorry, slide 3. So for slide 3, we want to use a table. And in this demo, I mean, we don't need to create this entire table because I want us to actually create this slide. But for using the table option, let's create a table and just use from name to parata roti. So that will be 1, 2, 3 rows and 1, 2 columns. So 3 rows, 2 columns. Right? Let's just pay attention to that. 3 rows, 2 columns. Now let's go to Lumi. So to create a slide, who can tell me what I need to do to create a new slide or to clone a slide if I want to clone a slide?
Go down to the bottom of the slide and select clone.
Right. So
yes, there.
We can clone the slide. Good. And just for the sake of creating a new slide, okay, use icons at the bottom, right? Good. So we are seeing here that Lumi is very intuitive, as the literature would suggest. It's an easy tool to learn, and this and you all are experiencing this as we go on in the presentation. So I'm going to add a new slide, and now I want to add a table. And to add a table, select the more option here, more option at the top of the canvas. So more elements will appear. I'm doing that again for those who did not see it. Right. And hover down to table. So heading column 1, heading column 2, row 1 and column 1, row 2, column 2. By default, this is what you are going to see. Now, if I wanted 3 rows and 2 columns, so to edit this, I need to select the table icon to the top of the editor. And now I can modify the rows and columns. So are you all seeing in your space, are you all seeing the option heading column 1, heading column 2, row 1, column 1? I want you all to delete that. Select it and hit delete or backspace on your keyboard. Okay, good. Now let's use the table that we created. I deleted the table to go over the steps. Select table. Three rows, 2 columns. You can edit the height and the width, but we are not going into that right now. Then you select OK. And I have the table here. And now I want to copy and paste the information I want into the table. I am not sure if I can do it all at once. I'm going to try. Oh, yeah. Wait, did I just copy a table into a table? Okay, so you can actually copy the table because it's a Lumi, because the example is created using Lumi, it's bringing everything in properly. But I want for you to copy and paste the information one by one. Or type. So name, because you need to see what happens to the table as you type. So I copied name and it kept the formatting. I typed description. By default, it came across, it appeared on bold, so I can highlight and bold. It's pretty much straight standard stuff. And now I can copy the rest of the information. Don't want to take too much time on tables. So you should have your content within your table. Giving you 1 more minute to do that. And when you're done, hit done. Drag your table to the space that you would like it to be displayed. And then hit Control S. Let's save. And let's take a preview. Good. And now let's create slide 4 here in the example, showing out variations of Ruti, where we have images and information buttons to click on. So let's add a new slide now. Let's add a new slide. Don't clone. Click add new slide. Give your slide a title. And when you do that, select image. Select the image.
Sorry, Javed, how
ahead.
did you, I just missed how you insert a new slide?
Oh, okay, no problems. So to the bottom of your canvas.
Oh, right.
You're seeing.
Seeing it now. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. When you select add new slide, give it a title and then hit enter or click out. When you're done doing that, select image. Quickly, let me to the top of your canvas, select image. And we did this before, so we're gonna go directly to the add option. Select in the example we have, this one is Sada Roti, yeah. And Dr. Zafran. Yeah. Select the Sada Roti image from your stock. And it's loaded here. And simply select done and drag it to the top of your slide or canvas and scale this image down. We want to make it smaller because we have a couple to fit on this slide. So let's scale it until we get a size of probably 200 by 113. Yeah, 200 by 113. Now we have an image, and in the example we have the Sada Roti image accompanied by some Sada Roti text. So I'm going to copy this text right now. To do that, you click the information button, highlight the text, Control C. In Lumi, select the text option and paste the text in the text editor. Control V. And leave it as is. Leave the text as is. There's no need for us to modify the text at this time. Now, what is important here, before you select done, you need to click or enable or check this display as button option. And you will notice that you have another option to determine the size of the button, so big or small. Let's go with big. And now you can select done or click done. And here is your button. And now you need to position this button. Good. So to do that, you select, you make sure the button is highlighted and you can drag it in the same way you can, in the same way you would have repositioned your image and text box. Okay. Let's Control S and view. See the chat, craving humans now. Yeah. So I'm going to variations too, and I have the saddle roti, and then I click, it's working, good. Go back to the edit. Now, to save time, we can simply copy this image. How many times? I believe it's 5 times. Well, in this case, it'll be copy and paste it 4 more times, because we have 5 images. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, yes. Let's go back to Lumi. And to copy an image or text box, you make sure it's selected. And when it's selected, you have the option to copy. You select copy. And when you select copy, if you notice, by selecting copy, the clipboard in the top right of your canvas or slide is highlighted, indicating that you have some contents in your clipboard. Now, to paste that information that was copied, or in this case, it's an image, I just simply click the clipboard, and what the image I copied will definitely appear on the page, or sorry, on the slide. And I want to do that 4 times. If when you're pasting your image, let me just get 5 across quickly. If while pasting your image, it's behind the slides, the slide titles, you can just turn off always show. Sorry, show titles, turn it off, and you can move the image and then turn it back on. Good. So now we have our images, 5 images. And I can rearrange it in a way that it is okay, it is aesthetically pleasing, it is easy to follow. I rearrange it, and now I want to change the image to what I really want. So I have saddle roti. The other image I want is bus up shot. Let's go get that image. We're not going for bus up shot, but we're going to get the image. And to replace this image, I simply double click on the image. The edit option for the image will appear, and then you select, you click on the image, sorry, you click on the image, and it's bus up shot, well, Parata in this case, Parata according to the website, Parata. It's loaded, and then you select done. Good. Now I want to do this, to do that for all one time. Let's do that. Double click. See, click on the image. So I had Parata, Dalpuri. The last one, beak, roti beak. Okay, so we have the 5 images that we want on our slide. Now we want the text to accompany it, and let's again copy this information button. So select the button. When you select the button or click on the button, you select copy, and it's copied and it's stored on your clipboard. Select paste. 1, 2, 3, 4. And rearrange it.
Javed, how did you get the information button?
How did I create it, or how did I copy and paste it?
How did you create it?
Okay. Okay, so to create the information button, you select text, paste the text, and to the bottom of your window, you will select display as button, and then select or click on done. And this is how you would, this is what you would do to get the information button. Okay. Now I need to edit the text because I've all copied it. It will all say, or give the definition or description for Sada roti. So let's copy the information and paste it in the appropriate text box. So to do that, you go back to the example, select, copy, Control-C, Control-V, done. Okay, for the sake of time, you don't need to do it for all, just do it for 1 or 2, and it's Control-S on your keyboard, save, and let's view. So we have, at this time, we are able to use Lumi to select an activity, which is course presentation. We are able to create a slide, and on that slide, we have text, we have image, we have an image, we give our slide a title, and we, in the last 2 slides, we would have used the table option, and we created an information button, and it's working. Good. So one other feature that I know you all will be interested in will be the use of, let me just delete the slide. All right. The use of videos. And within videos, you want to add some interactivity. And if you look on slide 5 in the example shared where we have a recipe, we have some activities within this video. So when persons are playing the video at a given point in time, specified by you or determined by you, an activity can appear, will appear based on what type of activity you embed in this video. And in this case, we have this activity where your students will have to choose the correct statement. All right, I'm going to select, when I make roti, I make it with love, you know, I don't know why this is the wrong answer. Anyways, based on the video, the correct answer is flour, salt, oil, and water. And then this is what is going to happen for the students, and they click continue. They will continue playing, and you may have another option where you actually select, it's like a multiple choice activity, how long the dough was needed for, I think 5 minutes, check, it's correct. They'll move on, continue. And at the end of the video, there's a summary page that we will include or is automatically included, because you may choose to give these activities a mark. And in order for that to talk to MyeLearning, you need to enable this option and allow students to submit answers, and it's going to directly go to the gradebook. Right, so let's add this same video, and we will create one activity. So let's do that. To do that, I want you to go to the folder that I created and open the file summary questions. When you open that file, good, I'm seeing persons opening it, right? Good, so people are following, great, nice, good to know that. I want you to open, or you don't even need to open, just copy this YouTube link. And go to Lumi. On Lumi, in your course presentation editor, let's add a new slide. Give the slide a title. And we are going again to the more elements option in the top right. In the top right of your, in the top right of your slide, and select interactive video. Let me know if you're seeing this window when you select interactive video. Just like Edpuzzle, yes, yes, yes. Good, thanks, Petra. Nice, good. So we already copied the YouTube link or the URL for that YouTube video, and we want to now embed that video in our presentation. To do that, we need to select the Add Video option and paste the URL link. So Control V. So you click in the text box or the input box and you hit Control V, then insert. And the video is loaded. It's an interactive video we are creating. So the next step in creating this interactive video is adding interactions. So you can use two methods to add the interactions. You can actually click to the top of the window, add interaction, step 2, add interaction, or you can select the button or click the next step, add interactions button. When you do that, the video will appear. And here you have the options, the interactivity options.
Okay, Javed, can you show us again how you add the video?
For sure.
Yes, again, thanks.
Yes, yes. To add the video, we created a new page. Slide. And on that slide, we gave it a title. We selected more elements, which is located at the top right of your canvas or slide, and hover all the way down to interactive video, select that option, and you will be taken to this window where you are given the option now to add the URL, the YouTube video. To do that, you select the add file icon, and in the input box here, you paste your YouTube link. So Control V and select or click insert. And once you do that, you go to step 2, which is to add interactions. And you have 2 ways of doing that: selecting step 2 to the top here, add interactions, or add interactions, which is the add interaction button located at the bottom right of your window. And when you select add interactions, you will see the video loaded in a player. And in this player, you can play the video itself. And you would want to do that because you need to have you need to determine exactly where you want to place your interactivity. It's not done anywhere in the video. It's just like you are having a face-to-face class, and you probably checking for feedback, you know, that formative feedback. So at that point in time, you may ask, in the face-to-face environment, you would ask a question. The video, you're using the video in that same way. So to play the video, there's the play button at the bottom left, and you also have the option to create bookmarks. And I mean, it's all up to you how you use these features. But to create a bookmark, you simply use the slider at the bottom of your video and go to an area in the video. Just give me a second. Just give this a second to load. Okay, it's cooling. It should be okay. And then you select the bookmark option. So we want to bookmark this current point. And I can add a bookmark at 19 seconds where let's say, pay attention to this. Pay attention. Or if I want to create multiple bookmarks, if it's a long video, I can use bookmarks as chapters or key points in the video. So persons can quickly go to those very important areas in the video, right? When you add the title for your bookmark, you hit enter. And that's just one small interactivity. But the interactivity we want to create is the choose the correct statement interactivity. Now, let's use the slider and go to one minute into the video. And you will notice as you drag your slider, you're seeing the actual time, point in time, located to the bottom right of the video player. What I want for you to do is to take note of this time, or you can copy it. Control C, because you're going to use this time. You need this time. It's very important. When you do that, to the top of your video, select statements and you'll be taken to another window, which would give you these options to display time. When I want this activity to be displayed, this is the time that I took note of, which is 1 minute. Oops. Current time, 1 minute. And how long do I want it to last? You just need to make sure it can be at the end of the video, but it's not going to be it's not going to remain on the screen till the end of the video, because we are going to use this option here, poster display. How do I want this activity to be displayed? I want to use poster, not a button, because it's easy to miss the button. But we don't want students to miss it. We don't want students to say, well, miss, I didn't see that. Sir, I didn't see that that option, that activity, which is 4 marks. So you want them to see it big and bold in their face. And to do that, you select poster. And what will happen is that at 1 minute into the video will automatically pause. You need to make sure it is checked, pause video. You need to make sure this is enabled, and the video will pause and the activity will appear as in the example shown. And what you can do is give the video a title. I would use the information. I would cite the person properly, cite the video properly, use here in using the proper title, etc. Yeah, I would just put the correct title of the video here. And now I want to add those statements. So choose the correct statement. You can edit this. Feel free to make it your own. I'm going to leave that by default, but this is at the bottom here where you see summary. This is what I want to pay some attention to. Summary, where you give the system those options that we have in the Word document, the Google Doc. So the statement will be, the ingredients used in this recipe are, I'm going to copy that and paste it right under choose the correct statement, because I want the students to know that that's exactly what they have to do, choose the correct statement, and then Control V. And now I want to add the options, just like a multiple choice, not going into the technicalities of STEM and so on. So Control V, Control C, Control V. Oh no, but I have three statements, and I only have 2 options here. No worries, just click add statements. Sorry. Add statement, not add statements. I clicked the wrong one. So add statement, and you will be given the option to add a new statement. Control V. Good, and by default, the first statement is the correct answer, and the system will shuffle it for you. And let's just select done. When you select done, you have to now drag the activity in place, and you can expand the activity itself. because you want, and you would want for students to see all the all the options in one glance. You don't want them to have to scroll inside of the video. So you want to make sure that the activity is fully displayed. Okay, and the next step will be summary task. We are not going to add the summary task because of time. We are just going to now select done. And the video with the interactivity is placed on your on the slide, and you have to again reposition. You can expand or resize. I'm going to save, Control S. Let's do a quick preview. And the bookmark that I added, with the one bookmark, when I click the bookmark icon, I can jump quickly to that spot, that point. Right? And I can, of course, the student is supposed to watch the entire video. Watch the video, and then at the point where the activity is placed, you will see it appearing. We did select, yeah, we did use 1 minute. My internet is moving a little bit. And this is what I meant by the video will be paused. So the video is paused, and the statement, the activity is displayed fully. There's no scrolling option for me to scroll within this window. And I will now select the correct answer. Okay. So at this time, I will close the demo. There's so much you can do, but for now, I really wanted for you to get a good feel of Lumi's editor or H5P editor, in particular course presentation. Once you use course presentation, today you've used course presentation, and you now have an idea of how the system is designed, and you will be able to add text because it's consistent throughout. So you may not be using a presentation, so you will not see slides, but definitely you will have the option to add text, links, shapes. You can add a video. You can put a button to or a page to go to a specific slide. Audio, we have different activities such as fill in the blanks, single choice, multiple choice. We did not cover those, but again, it's really straightforward. Now that you have some experience, you will be able to design and make your presentations very interactive. The last thing we would want to do is to save our presentation again.
Javed, just one quick question. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't understand. How do you preview the video to see that, the markers are in the correct places?
No problem. So you click view to the top of your page. You see in view here?
Yes.
Right. When you select view, go to your video.
Yes.
And in the
okay, yeah, I think now it's active. Yes.
Right. In the video now, if you added a bookmark, you can click bookmark, the bookmark icon.
Yes.
And select well, I only added one. But
Or the statement, whichever I have, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or you can drag the slider to the statement and make sure it's working.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Right, and at the end of the video, if you had multiple activities and it's 4 marks, students will have to submit their answer. If
Right.
they don't, if they don't do that, it will not go to the gradebook. So this is where you would have to provide some information, additional information for your students.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we did go over time. So once you save your video, I'm going your H5P activity, you definitely have the option to upload the video in MyeLearning. And to do that, editing must be on. Here's the famous add an activity. You can use that method, or you can go directly to your content bank, select upload, choose a file or drag and drop, as the case may be. Upload a file, choose the file, and find that file or H5P activity. So I have the activity here, and all H5P activities will be saved as H5P as a H5P file type. You select it. Dr. Hill, all is yours. I apologize.
That's okay. That's okay. And I think the persons really wanted, and there are 2 questions there. There are 3 questions there for us, Javed. So the first option, first statement is usually the correct answer.
Yes.
She's just responding to AVN's question, and Simone, you said, how do we display this on students if they are okay? I'm recognizing my screen isn't on.
Let me stop share. Hi, Dr. Hill. You're muted.
I'm muted. Sorry about that. Certainly, you can host your .h5p file outside of MyeLearning, and there is the option of doing that on h5p.com, that's how they make money. But certainly, I think there are technical ways in which you can actually host your H5P and reference it on a website. And we can perhaps explore that with you a little bit further in a clinic, because you can certainly host it. If you use WordPress, for example, there are WordPress plugins to allow you to do that. But certainly, most web browsers allow you to reference it natively. So it's a bit technical, and so certainly we'll be able to do that a little bit more in more detail. All right, can content types that be created used elsewhere other than MyeLearning? Yes, and that is why we presented the option of Lumi. That's one of the reasons why, because you may want to not have your, you may want to migrate your content in a different platform. Again, as I said, you may have a WordPress site, and it may not necessarily be a particular course. It could be something that you're particularly interested in, and so forth. So certainly, we're seeing the need that you can have that. All right. So I hope Renel, I answered your question in terms of that can be created in Lumi, be uploaded elsewhere. Yes, certainly you can. And you can actually create items within MyeLearning and actually host it elsewhere. So you can certainly do that. What about the inclusion of latex, mathematical symbols online? So I think once you're able to copy and paste, I think I've lost track of latex formatting. I don't know if it's ANSI, but certainly it is text. And so once you're able to copy and paste text into the text box, because latex is a web operable, interoperable content format, and so you should be able to copy and paste it. And you could also copy it as an image, as a fact. I mean, you can actually use it as an image, upload it as an image as well. So even if you are restricted by the text, you could actually have the latex symbols created, save it as a graphic file and upload it to the content creator. Okay, great to know. All right, great to know. And certainly we want, okay, and oh yeah, Javed has just posted in the chat room. Thanks, Javed. Their mathematical expressions, so you can certainly see that's there. I will tell you that HTML5 is not the only format, post flash format that has been interactive and so forth. There's also we have WebAssembly, as well as WebGL, which is, those of you who are into engineering may want to explore those different ways. But certainly you have 2D, 3D dimension, different engines. But HTML is by far the most popular. It is a game changer. It is certainly making headlines in academia. And so it is important for us to see how we are sitting, traveling the idea of how do we use this in our setting as academics. Certainly, it's not something that is going to use immediately if you're certainly time constrained, but we certainly want to continue supporting you. We know it's beyond time, so we will include, if you're interested in working as a focus group or as a focus group in piloting this in semester 1, which certainly will want to be there to give you additional support, additional clinics, and see how well we can actually support you using this. But from a more intentional standpoint in improving your practice, because the whole course design and planning would take a little bit more than just looking at the H5P. So, and I indicated that earlier in mine, in terms of think of what you want to add. Think of the assessments, think about, what elements you want to add and plan that ahead, and then you could certainly, that would be useful. And so I don't want to go beyond the time, beyond 3:22. I just want to say thank you. You should receive in the chat room, and by the way, I want to say thank you for my settle member teams who are here with me. In the room with me today, we have Dr. Zephyrin, we have Mr. Duku, we have Mr. Garcia, and we have I think I saw Shala, Miss Phillips. Yes, they early on. So thank you for joining in, and certainly we really enjoyed having you. We see that we started with 25 and we kept on to 23, so that's great. So and Mark is posting in the chat room. We really want you to post that. We really want to learn more from you, see what we can do differently, and certainly please complete that questionnaire. Thank you so much in advance for doing that, because we really want to do different things, and certainly we see how the role of H5P in our community, because we want STA, UE St. Augustine to certainly be a trendsetter, and this certainly can be one of the tools that you can use, and in a very meaningful way, we want you to partner with us. So send us an email if you're interested. My email address is leroy.hill@sta.ue.edu, or you could also email Mr. Mohammed, and certainly any one of us will be able to assist you and work with you to meet your teaching and learning needs with that. Okay, so great. Thank you so much. And I know I'm going to stop the recording because